Hey everyone, welcome to the video. This one we're going over our favorite plays, picks, and strategy for the upcoming UFC event, UFC 249. But in today's video, I brought in a special guest, Andrew. He runs DFS by the Numbers YouTube channel. Over on his channel, you can find his fight prediction videos, favorite DraftKings plays, and his favorite bets of the entire weekend. He also has a Twitter account at DFS by the Numbers. And if you want extra exclusive Patreon content, you can get access to his entire UFC model, projections, premium fight-by-fight breakdown video, and his Slack chat, and more. You can hit the link in the description below, and I'll try to link it if I remember Act 2 over to his channel. And before we continue, though, if you guys could just leave a like, and if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Really helps me out. Really appreciate it. Go subscribe to his channel as well and follow him on Twitter. Links will be in the description below. And without further ado, I'll let Andrew say a couple words before we continue.
What's up, everybody? Thank you, Chris, for letting me come on. Like he said, you guys can check out my channel. The link will be in the description. Also, if you're interested in the sheet, again, the link will be in the description. Lots of good stuff on there. The projections are Vegas odds based, so they're pretty accurate. And then, of course, the rankings, optimizer, all that, and many more. So that'd be awesome. You guys can check that out. And we're just going to go in the video here, go by kind of fight by fight and kind of give you my plays through each fight. And yeah, let's do it.
All right, and just a disclaimer, I don't know much about UFC, so I'm kind of just here to hang out. Brought him on the channel just to have a little bit of fun, and he can hopefully give you guys some helpful insight because I know he loves UFC. He's breaking it down all week, always bugging me about it. So anyway, let's just get into the video. So we're going to go fight by fight. We're going to start with the first fight of the night. That's going to be Ryan Spann. He comes in at 9,300 versus Sam Alvey at 6,900, and Ryan Spann comes in at a 400 favorite. So thoughts on that?
All right, so usually I'm all for targeting the first fight because usually the first fight's very, very low owned, and you can get like some really good value off of the fighters that you think are going to win on the first fight. Like the past couple of weeks, I've been absolutely killing the first fight of the night. But this is a time where I'm thinking about playing either very little or maybe even fading the fight. Ryan Spann, 9,300, he's going to be chalk. I've seen a lot of people think that Ryan Spann just going to come out here and he's going to finish Sam Alvey first touch of the chin. People are tending to forget that Alvey's very, very durable guy. He's been finished 3 times by knockout. He's never been submitted. As we see here, Spann wins 18% of his fights by knockout. He's not really a knockout guy, although he does have that power. He's more of a submission guy where he wins 50% of his fights by submission. Like I said, Alvey's only been knocked out 3 times, and Spann's been knocked out 2 times in 22 fights. So I know he's been knocked out 2 of his last 3 fights, but I think, Alvey's chin's going to hold up. I definitely think Spann's going to win. Obviously, he's minus 400, but I'm not going to be playing much of him. I'd rather be playing everybody else in the 9,000s like Luque and Ngannou. We're doomed. And Spann's going to be chalk. I mean, he's a minus 400 favorite. So probably very, very little on this fight as a whole. It is the first fight of the night. I don't want all my lineups to be ruined by Spann, like scoring 80 in a decision, or even Alvey potentially knocking out Spann, because we've seen Spann knocked out before. So this first fight of the night I'm not really interested in at all. So yeah, that's about it.
I know in the pre-show you said Spann feels a little bit trappy.
Yeah, I feel like it could be a trap. We've seen big favorites lose before. We've seen the highest favorite lose before. I'm not saying Spann's going to lose, but I think there is a potential he can bust. And you're fine with playing anybody in the 9,000s because Luque can get a finish, where Doom can get a finish, and Ngannou can obviously get a finish. So if you want to fade Spann, if you want to get off that ownership, you can. I know I am, or at least going to have very little of Spann as well.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next fight. We got Bryce Mitchell. He comes in at 8,500 versus Charles Rosa at 7,700, and Mitchell is a minus 155 favorite.
All right, so I like Bryce Mitchell a lot in this fight. I think he's going to win. It's just I don't know how much he's going to score on DraftKings. I can see him, scoring, getting a decision and scoring maybe 85, maybe hitting value. Does not throw much volume. I think he can get takedowns on Rosa. I just don't think he's going to be able to submit Rosa. Rosa's a black belt, but we've seen Mitchell pull off some nice submissions. We saw his twister his last fight. So the thing is, I like Mitchell as a GPP play because if he wins, I think it's either going to be by decision or early finish. And I do wish the line was a lot closer. I think this should be closer towards a pick 'em because this is a close fight. But I do think Mitchell will win. It's just if he does not get that first round finish, the first round submission, maybe he scores like 85. I don't know if that's going to be enough to get in the optimal lineup. But as for Charles Rosa, I'm not too interested in playing him because I don't think he's going to submit Bryce Mitchell. Don't think he's going to put out some crazy volume numbers. I don't think he's going to finish Bryce Mitchell as well. So if I had to play anybody, it's Bryce Mitchell, 8,500. Wish it was a little bit lower, but I'll have to live with that. And I'll be playing a little bit of Bryce Mitchell.
Okay. Next fight, I know that has a guy that you're really interested this week. You were talking a lot about him in the pre-show. Vicente Luque, he comes in at 9,000, going up against Nico Price at 7,200, and Luque comes in at a minus 290 favorite. I know you have a lot of interest, so go ahead.
Yeah, Vicente Luque is 9,000. He's my favorite play on the whole slate. And that's great because he's 9,000. He's the cheapest of the 9,000s. Like I said, anybody in the 9,000s can go off, but I'd rather go with the cheapest guy in the 9,000s, Vicente Luque. We've seen Luque finish Price before. I know that was a couple years ago, but I don't think much has changed here. They're still the same fighters, especially Nico Price. Still the same fighter, still the same dangerous fighter. Anything can happen. But we've seen here, Luque has never been finished by strikes in 24 fights, so that's a very good sign. I mean, anything can happen. Bryce can be losing the fight, the whole time and end up pulling some crazy finish off at the last second, like we've seen in his last fight with James Vick with the up kick. We've seen the hammer fist from bottom. We've seen him knock out Tim Means. I mean, Nico Price is crazy. So I will have some Nico Price, but Luque is probably going to be my highest owned fighter, over 50%. Not going crazy like 100% because it is against a dangerous fighter, but I just don't. I'd be honestly surprised if Nico Price wins here. Just Luque is the much better fighter. Luque is very, very durable, much more durable than Price. So I like Luque quite a bit, especially for that kind of discount at 9,000. And I'm going to have a lot of them, cash, GPP, anything.
What do you think his ownership is going to look like?
I think a lot of ownership is going to go to Spann and Ferguson, honestly. So hopefully he goes a little bit under owned, but I do think he's going to be popular. Probably like 35-40%, somewhere around there.
All right, cool. All right, next fight we got Jacare Souza at 8,300 going up against Uriah Hall at 7,900. This looks to be a pretty close fight according to Vegas, as we have Souza as a minus 130 favorite.
Yeah, this fight's very hard to call. It's probably the toughest fight to call on the whole slate. Souza 8,300, Hall 7,900. What I think is going to happen, I think Souza's going to come out here. He's going to be fresh in that first round. I think he's going to be able to take down Hall and maybe get in a submission. Hall's never been submitted. Hall's been knocked out 4 times. Souza's been knocked out 2 times. Both their durabilities are kind of questionable, so I would not be surprised if there's a finish, especially early here. But I think Souza's going to take down Hall, hopefully work some submissions. If Hall gets out of that first round, I think he's very live because we've seen Souza gassed out, especially if he's doing a lot of work on the ground. He's going to get tired. So, I'm not really interested in Hall or really this fight as a whole. But if I was to play somebody, it'd definitely be Souza because I do think there's upside for whether it be a knockout or submission as well. Like I said, Hall's never been finished, but he's never faced somebody with the grappling ability of Souza here. So I would not be surprised if a Hall got submitted here. So, like I said, not too interested on it. But if I had to pick somebody, it'd definitely be Souza here.
Okay. Now getting into our first women's fight of the night. I know talking to you earlier, you were not a big fan of this fight at all. So we have Carla Esparza at 8,400 going up against Michelle Waterson at 7,800, and Carla's coming in at a minus 150 favorite.
Yeah, I'm not too interested in this fight. If it was like lying closer to like 8,200 Esparza, 8,000 Michelle Waterson, maybe I'd take a look at Esparza. I just don't really, see her being on the optimal lineup. I can see Esparza landing maybe 3, 4, even 5 takedowns in the fight. That's only 25 points. DraftKings doesn't really count ground strikes as significant strikes, so we're kind of out of luck there. Esparza doesn't really do much on the ground anyway, so I can see her scoring 25 points with the takedowns. But as for significant strikes, maybe only getting like 20, 30, 40, somewhere around there. I can see her scoring like 60, 70 in a decision. I don't think it's going to be optimal. So as for Waterson, she's not going to get many takedowns, if any at all. She's not going to finish the fight, most likely. I mean, just looking at the Vegas odds here, odds to finish, they're really bad. Esparza plus 565, Waterson plus 730. KO odds, Waterson plus 1,900. Submission odds plus 650 for Waterson. I mean, just very, very bad inside the distance lines here. So definitely not a fight I'm interested in at all. Probably going to fade the fight as a whole. Maybe just a few Esparza because there is that takedown upside, but I just don't think she's going to do anything with it.
Okay, hopefully next fight's going to be a little bit more interesting here. So we got Fabricio Werdum going up against Alexei Olynyk. Werdum comes in at 9,200, very pricey, I must say. And Olynyk's at 7K, and Werdum's coming in at a minus 330 favorite, which I believe is the second highest on the slate that we talked about so far.
Yeah, this fight is going to be interesting for sure. I mean, this fight, I believe, is handpicked for Werdum. I just don't see a path to victory for Olynyk unless it's like a fluke knockout. Olynyk does hit hard. It's heavyweight, but his just style and striking is just so it's not good. And more of a submission guy here. Let's see. So Olynyk wins 11% of his fights by knockout. Not really a knockout guy, so I would be surprised if Olynyk knocked out Werdum, but Werdum is very chinny. But I think Werdum's going to smash here. We've seen Olynyk get very tired very fast. Werdum does not have the best gas tank either, but it's a lot better than Olynyk's. I think Werdum's going to come out here, take down Olynyk easily. Olynyk's takedown defense is really bad. Olynyk's takedown defense is 11%, so I could probably take him down. Just kidding. But Werdum is going to take him down easy. I think he's going to smash him on the ground, get him out of there in the first round, whether it be by submission or a TKO. I think Olynyk's going to get tired fast. If this gets into the second round, Olynyk's going to be gassed out most likely from all the grappling Werdum's going to be doing. And if Werdum wants to keep this on the feet, I think that's fine as well. I think he has better striking. I think he has a lot of power. I think Olynyk can be knocked out as well. So 9,200, I think it's a smash spot here. A little bit pricey. But I'm willing to pay that 9,200 in cash. I think that's fine. I think this matchup's handpicked for him, so I would be comfortable playing him in cash as well as GPP.
Okay. Now the next fight looks pretty fun. Again, I don't know much about UFC, but I do recognize these two names. We have Anthony Pettis at 8,200 going up against Donald Cowboy Cerrone, and it seems like he's on every single card. Every time I see a UFC card, it seems like Cerrone's on there. But closest fight, it looks like, according to Vegas, Pettis comes in at a minus 140 favorite. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this fight is another tough fight to call. You cannot trust either of these guys. We've seen an interview recently where Donald Cerrone admitted that, he didn't show up to the Conor fight, and that's what it looked like. So then we've seen Pettis quit in his last few fights as well. So both these guys cannot be trusted. It's probably why it's a pick 'em. But I'm actually going with Donald Cowboy Cerrone here at 8,000. I think if he can avoid that power shot of Pettis, I think he can win this fight with grappling, wrestling. I think he can take Pettis down. If he takes him down, I think he'll have no problem winning this fight. And just really go for takedowns. We don't know what Cowboy will show up. If he starts slow, that could be bad. He could get finished early. But Pettis, isn't really a knockout guy. I mean, he finished Cerrone in 2013. But after he finished Cerrone in 2013, I think he has one knockout since then. And so in 7 years, he has one knockout since then. He's not really a knockout guy. Ever since he moved to the weight class, he hasn't been looking the best. I think Cerrone's going to win here. I think there's a lot of recency bias going on because Cerrone's been knocked out in the first or second round in his last 3 fights. But that was by Gaethje contending for a title here. That was by, Ferguson. That was by Conor McGregor. The best of the best. So you can't, take account into that too much. And I think if Cerrone just, if his durability holds up, if the right Cowboy shows up, which I think he will, he doesn't want to lose 4 in a row. His legacy's on the line here. I think he's going to show up. I think he's going to avenge his loss against Pettis by decision. As for DraftKings goes, though, I think Cerrone can hit value with volume alone. If he gets takedowns, especially, he'll hit value there. But as for Pettis, I'll play a little bit as well because I do think there is knockout upside in the first round. So I'm going to have a little bit of both of this fight, but probably more Cerrone.
You're looking forward to this fight just from a fan point of view?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be great.
Okay, I just wondering. Hey, I recognize the name. So anyway, next fight is Greg Hardy versus Jurgen de Castro. Greg Hardy's coming in at 8,600, Castro at 7,600, and Hardy's a pretty sizable favor here, minus 190.
Yeah, it's actually going up to minus 200 now. I think the line might even get even wider, which surprises me because all I see on Twitter and everything is de Castro's going to knock Hardy out, all this, but the line keeps going towards Hardy's favor, and I'm on Hardy's side for sure. Hardy does have a 6-inch reach advantage, which is going to be huge in this fight. He has a 4-inch height advantage. I think de Castro, it says on here 6'1". I think he's even smaller than that. So I like Greg Hardy quite a bit. I think he can keep de Castro on the outside with that reach. We saw de Castro knock out Tafa his last fight, but that's because Tafa has rushed in, without any care. He got clipped on the inside. Castro's looking a little bit tired in that fight to me. He was breathing a little bit heavy. I think Hardy obviously has gas tank issues as well, especially with the inhaler situation. But I think Hardy is better at gas tank. I think Hardy can get there's finish upside here. There's decision upside. I just don't think in a decision Hardy will score the best. So I'm hoping for that knockout. But I do like Hardy quite a bit as a play. But on the other side of things, I will be playing some De Castro, 7,600. If he gets a knockout, I definitely think he'll be on the optimal lineup. So I'm going to be playing both, but definitely more Hardy. And I think Hardy's going to win this fight and maybe even potential bet on him if the line gets a little bit closer. But I just see it getting wider. I mean, people are saying they're betting De Castro, but the line just keeps getting wider on Hardy, which is a little weird to me.
Okay. Next fight, we got Calvin Kattar at 8,900 going up against Jeremy Stephens at 7,300, and Kattar's coming in at a -250 favorite.
Not really too interested in this fight from a DraftKings perspective. Stephens has lost like 3 in a row. I think Kattar's a better fighter. There's just a chance that Stephens knocks him out. Kattar's never been finished in his career by strikes, so I think Kattar's chin will hold up and he'll win it a very dominant decision. Maybe with the potential to finish Stephens, but Stephens is really tough too. So I can just see Kattar winning a dominant decision. I don't think if he wins a decision, I don't think he's going to pay off the 8,900. I can see him getting like 80 points, 85 points. So much rather play Luque. Much would rather play Ferguson. Much would rather play Doom and Ngannou, all those guys. So Kattar is pretty much like if I maybe plug him in at the end of the lineup guy. He's going to be very low owned. So maybe if he does get a finish at very low ownership, maybe I'll have him for that reason. But other than that, not too interested in this fight. Maybe some Stephens in case he gets a knockout. But other than that, not a fight I'm looking to target too heavily.
Okay, so next up we got Francis Ngannou, and just by looking at the Vegas odds here, he's got a pretty high odds to finish, -145, which is the highest I've seen so far. And he's going up against Rosen at 7,100, and just in general, Ngannou's a -275 favorite to win.
Yeah, this fight's really interesting. Ngannou 9,100. If he gets that finish in the first round, obviously hit value. But if he does not get that finish, I am very worried that he might not win this fight. He is not a very active fighter at all. We've seen him lose a decision to Derek Lewis. A lot of people are saying that fight might be the Lewis and Ngannou fight. I hope not. I hope it's a great fight. I hope somebody gets finished. But Ngannou lands 2.15 significant strikes per minute with a 37% accuracy. And compared to Rosenstruck, he lands 3.72 significant strikes per minute with a 46% accuracy. So Rosenstruck's going to be the busier guy. And if Rosenstruck does not get knocked out, I think he can win a decision. Now, I'm not saying Rosenstruck will absolutely break the slate with a decision, but if Rosenstruck wins a decision, he'll probably score like 65, 70. It would mean it's a very, very low volume fight. So I'm hoping Ngannou wins. I hope he knocks him out in the first round. But this is a heavyweight. Anything can happen. Rosenstruck can knock him out in the first round. We've seen Rosenstruck knock out his past couple opponents. So I think Ngannou is going to win, but I'm going to be playing both sides. And honestly, I'd rather play Luque or Werdum. But this Ngannou is probably like a secondary option for me up there at the 9,000s.
Okay, our next fight has someone I think you had quite a bit of interest in. I think you said he was a really, really good cash game play, probably going to be one of the higher-owned fighters of the entire weekend. So we have Henry Cejudo at 8,800 going against Dominick Cruz, and Dominick Cruz was the guy I was talking about just a couple of seconds ago. He comes in at 7,400, and Cejudo is coming in at a -225 favorite. So your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm picking Cruz to win. It's just he's been on a layoff. It's about a 4-year layoff. I think he's going to be the faster fighter, better on the feet. It's just Cejudo has that power. He has those takedowns, but Cruz has a very good takedown defense. Cruz has very good scrambling ability. This is a very, very good cash game play with Dominick Cruz. I'm locking Dominick Cruz in cash. I think he'll be probably the highest owned underdog in cash or second highest owned under Gaethje. I just think he's a plug-in in cash. I think it's an easy cash play. 5 rounds to work with, lots of volume. We've seen him score high before in volume alone. Maybe some reversals, maybe a sweep, but I think Cruz is most likely going to stop those takedowns or scramble right back up. But as for Cejudo, 8,800. There is a potential he can knock out Cruz. Cruz has never been finished, but anything can happen. 8,800, I'll probably have some. If it goes to decision, I don't think Cejudo is going to, absolutely break the slate. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to play Cejudo, but I'll play a little bit of him just in case he does knock out Cruz. But for cash, like I said, I'm locking Cruz. But as for GBP, Cruz's finish odds are very bad. If Cruz wins, it's going to be by a very, very close decision. He's going to out volume Cejudo if he wins. So I can see him scoring probably like 80 points, and maybe that's enough to go on the optimal lineup. So 7,400. I'm definitely going to play him in GPP, but all in cash, probably like maybe 30%, 35% in GPPs. Nothing crazy, although I do think he's going to win. But I do think Cejudo probably should win because of that layoff. But I'm going with Cruz. I'm sticking with my gut, and hopefully he can pull off this decision.
Okay. Even if he doesn't win, you think he can still be cash viable then?
If he doesn't win, yes, 100%. He's cash viable. If he goes 5 rounds and he loses, that's great. That's what I want. Get that volume in there, score 30, 40 points in the loss. That's perfect.
All right. So now we got the big fight of the night, the fight I keep seeing all over Twitter. We have Tony Ferguson at 8,700 going up against Justin Gaethje at 7,500. And Ferguson is coming in at the favorite at -185 and -120 for odds to finish.
Yeah, Tony Ferguson, I'm picking him to win, but this fight is a 50-50 fight. The lines indicate that it's not, and there's a slight lean on Tony Ferguson. A couple weeks ago, I thought the fight should be closer to a pick'em, with the slight lean on Tony Ferguson, and that was before Gaethje gets an extra 3 weeks of training and conditioning in, and now he gets the extra 3 weeks. So I think the fight should absolutely be a pick'em. So I think you're getting a lot of value for Gaethje at 7,500 because if he does win, it's going to be in the first or second round. He's going to break the slate. So I'm going to have about 50% Gaethje. And then as for Tony Ferguson, if he wins, it's going to be with a lot of volume. Gaethje gets hit a lot. Gaethje absorbs like 10 significant strikes per minute. So but playing both these guys, you could stack it in cash because I do think if this goes out of the first, second round, you're going to get a lot of points volume alone, and you're going to get the winner over 100 points easily. So I think the popular move is going to be stacking this in cash. I don't know if I'm going to yet, but most likely it'd be the smart idea too. But if Ferguson wins, he's probably going to score easily over 100 points with like a third round finish with a lot of significant strikes. Both these guys don't really like playing defense. They like, playing offense. So there's going to be a lot of volume thrown. But yeah, 50-50 on this fight. Might do a slight lean on Tony Ferguson if I'm able to, but I just feel like it's going to be hard to make lineups with not many underdogs I'm too interested in. So 50-50 for me. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this fight.
All right, that's pretty much it for the fighter by fighter breakdown, but I did have a couple of questions that I feel like some people would ask in the comments, so I'm going to ask it for them, but if you do have any other questions, you can comment below if I didn't ask it for you already. But the first question I had for you was roster construction, and it's pretty much just cash versus GPP. So how would you approach cash games? How would you approach GPPs?
All right, so cash games, usually you want to start up at the top and I'm playing those guys. But this week, it's weird. I'm starting at the bottom. I'm like, yeah, I want to play Justin Gaethje. I want to play Dominick Cruz, and I'm moving my way up. And then I want to get, the guys at the top. Like I really like Luque. I really like Verdum. I think you can play Ngannou in cash even, but I'd rather play Luque and Verdum. So I'm just something like that. And then you got to find your fighters in the middle, which the mid-range is really tricky this week. So you got to pick them careful. And like maybe Greg Hardy, maybe you'll have to pick between Pettis or Cerrone. You can also do maybe a Souza in cash. So cash is a little bit tricky. I know my top 2 guys. I know my bottom 2 guys. Still not, still trying to figure out my middle guys that put in there. But as for GPPs, you want to target the fights that are going to finish like Ferguson Gaethje, Ngannou Rosenstruck, Greg Hardy de Castro, Verdum Olynyk, Souza Hall, Luque. You want to target those fights, and you want to get a lot of finishes on your lineup, and you'll do very good in GPPs. You also want to find guys that are going to win, and yeah.
Oh, quick question. I know you don't want to stack a fight in GPP, correct?
In GPPs, you do not want to stack a fight. Very rarely it has the winning lineup been on in a tournament. Stacked. Like we saw Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. That was on the winning lineup, and then Joanna versus Weili Zhang, that was on the winning lineup. Those are the only 2 I can remember where you've stacked a fight in GPPs. So maybe that happens, but very, very unlikely. But if it does happen and you do it, it'll probably be one of the few with that lineup. So, I mean, you could try it, but probably not for me.
Okay, so the next question I had was, and I think you already answered it, but just to get a definitive answer, who do you think, in your opinion, who do you think is going to be the highest owned fighter?
Highest owned fighter, it's got to be either Ferguson or Gaethje. And then right below that, I'm thinking probably Spann will be up there as well in ownership.
Okay, if there was a fight to fade on this card, what would it be? I have to assume you're probably going to pick that women's fight.
Yeah, Esparza, Waterson. If you wanted to fade another one, maybe Cater Stevens could also be faded, in my opinion. So, other than that, probably every other fight's probably in play. Bryce Mitchell, Rosa, you could make a case for fading that as well.
Okay, and which high-price fighter do you think is a trap?
Probably Ryan Spann or Francis Ngannou. Ngannou, it could be another fight like the Lewis fight. Ryan Spann could, everybody thinks he's going to knock out Alvey in the first round. Maybe he goes to the third round or a decision and scores maybe 90 points, 85 points. So probably one of those two.
Okay, and last and final question. Which pump play do you think has the potential to break the entire slate?
I'm going to give you pump plays because it can be either Rosenstruck, it can be Luque, it can be Olynyk, you just got to target those fights that are going to end inside the distance. But if I had to pick one, probably Nico Price out of nowhere, just finishing Luque.
And he'll probably be much lower owned than the other guys in the 7K range, like Gaethje and Cruz, right?
Oh, way lower owned, yeah.
So that'd be a big edge in GPPs.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to say? Because I think we pretty much went over just about everything.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you subscribe to Chris. He puts out great content. You can also find me at DFS by the Numbers on YouTube. I put out breakdowns, DraftKings, FanDuel, all that. You can check out my Patreon. The link will be in the description where I do give out my fighter stats, this sheet right here, my targets, projections, optimizer rankings, lineup percentages, and also a premium fighter by fighter breakdown, which should be out pretty soon. So check that out. And yeah, good luck this weekend, guys.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I got a sneak preview of the spreadsheet, and I was just playing around with it. A lot of good stuff on there. And that's pretty much going to be it for the video, guys. Like he said, remember to leave a like. It really helps us out. Just more interaction gets the video out to more people. And remember to subscribe if you're new. And looking forward to NASCAR on May 17th. We're finally going to have the return of NASCAR. So very excited for that. I'll be pumping out content for that as well. But again, for anything UFC related, hit up Andrew's channel. He's got a lot of stuff on there. Check out his fight prediction videos, his DraftKings videos, and if you're into betting, he has a betting video up there as well. And he just posted a FanDuel video right before we recorded this. So if you guys are going to go play over on FanDuel, I know UFC's pretty new over on FanDuel. You can check that out. That's going to be pretty much for this video, guys. Follow me on Twitter at ChrisPennell16. Follow Andrew at DFS by the Numbers, and we're out.